purpose and hope and love. Where do I find it in this crazy old world? I need strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Every time I listen, Lauren and David share strategies for living, and it makes me aware. I got strategies for living, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
We need them. We need those strategies, don't we? Those strategies for living. Are you ready? You ready for your daily dose of radio rehab?
I think I'm ready.
You ready today?
I think so.
You will be shortly if you're not. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, folks.
Ready or not, here we are.
Ready or not, here we are. Hey, folks, welcome. Welcome into another edition of Strategies for Living. I'm Dr. David McMillian. She is psychotherapist, PLPC, Lauren Leon McMillian. I've got a treat for you today.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All
yeah.
right.
Our life strategist is Paula Saunders. Mm-hmm. Saunders, I think is the way. We'll find that out. I want to make sure I am saying the name correctly. But she's got a brand new novel out. Mm-hmm. She hit a home run in her debut novel. It's called The Distance Home. And she's come back with Starting From Here.
Yes.
And talk about, it's a deeply affecting portrait of a young woman striving for greatness. This has a lot of stuff in it. It's a family struggle, trying to keep afloat, and
I love
dreams and all that stuff.
I love a good, elegant coming of age story because it's so universal yet so provocative. It pulls everybody in. There's something we can all take from and relate to and understand within the story. There's
so much I think that we can all learn from I love writers, authors like Paula Saunders who are willing to come in and talk about their craft and talk about their books. And in addition to that, we get into the meat of what to learn. And there's a lot to learn here, starting from home.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. So that's today. That's what's on taps today.
All right, I'm ready.
You're
not only ready, I am thoroughly looking forward to our conversation.
Okay, so you just thought you were ready, but now you're revved, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Folks, you will be too. Paula Saunders is our life strategist today. Thank you for being here, and we appreciate our sponsors making it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitta's Delicatessen, home of The Godfather, alligator Italian sausage, and some pretty good muffies, too. Back in a moment. Starting from here, Paula Saunders, our life strategist, here on Strategies for Living. Be right back.
Tune in daily, find the light. Healthy mind and spirits bright. Strategies for living strong. Feel the vibe, it won't go wrong. Body moves and soul align. Catch the rhythm, feel the time. Radio rehab every day. Chase those clouds of gray away. Your daily dose of radio rehab. Lift you up when skies seem drab. Mind and body, spirits free. Living life in harmony.
And welcome into Strategies for Living. Lauren Leon McMillian, David McMillian. Let's welcome into the program now our life strategist. She is Paula Saunders. She grew up in Rapid City, South Dakota. She's a graduate of Syracuse University Creative Writing Program, was awarded a postgraduate Albert Schweitzer Fellowship at the State University of New York at Albany, and under Schweitzer Chair Toni Morrison. Her first book, The Distance Home, was long listed for the Center for Fiction First Novel Prize and named one of the best books of the year by Real Simple. Paula Saunders, welcome. Welcome into Strategies for Living.
Welcome.
Thank you, David. Thank you, Lauren. So nice to be here. Nice of you to have me, and such a kind introduction. Thank you very much.
I just burned my hands. Hands all day.
That book is on fire.
It's not usual that we get to talk to an author on the debut day. I mean, talk about hot off the press.
Yeah. Yep, to the big day, big day.
Congratulations! What? Of course, this is not your first. This you know, but it's still new. It's still kind of new. This writing thing.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It's not the first, but I tell you, the second one is somehow a little bit harder. The first one, for me at least, with the first one, I was real excited and everything. This one, I'm a little more like, oh, I hope this goes well.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
So how did you get into? I want to hear a little bit about your first book, The Distance Home. Obviously, it was well received and sold well and read by a lot of people. Lots of great reviews. How did you? Obviously, you went through a great program. You had mentor Toni Morrison. My goodness, you can't get a better mentor than that. But even backing up prior to that, did you know that you wanted to do this for a little while, or how did this all come to be, Paula? Because you were, and part of the story in starting from here is the dancing thing. You were passionate about dancing.
I was really passionate about dancing all my life, really, since I was a little kid. And when I was little, I used to write, and I used to write a lot of poems, but dancing was my main focus. And then I think I, did the whole dancing thing that kind of played out for me, and went to college and all that stuff. And in college, I started writing, and I just fell in love with it. And I was the person in the class who, we'd have to come in and read each other's stories for workshop. And I was the person who was always there early and really wanted to see what everybody had done. And I just fell in love with it. And then I got to go to graduate school at Syracuse University, where I studied with Tobias Wolff and Douglas Unger. So they were wonderful mentors for me too. And then after that, just through chance and luck, I got to go be with Toni Morrison for a while.
Whoa.
Wow.
Yeah, really. How lucky was that for me? It was really a momentous thing in my life, and it's a really big deal.
You're gonna give us some secrets about Toni Morrison? You're gonna inquiring minds want to know.
I can give you a few secrets. As a mentor, to me, I felt like she was so kind. And the thing that struck me most about her was her generosity. And I say that not like she's giving me stuff, but when she talked to me about my writing, she talked to me from her authentic self, and she didn't hold back, and she didn't pad anything, and she there was nothing but really her pure vision of my work. And that was a real gift. And she had the confidence, I think. I think that's the most important part, to be able to speak from your authentic self like that. She had the confidence to really speak to me, and I was I have to say for myself, I was open enough to hear it, because sometimes it wasn't easy. But I was open enough to hear it, and I was open enough to respond to it, and I loved her very much. She was just a very dear. We were not friends. She was my mentor and my teacher.
Right. And
I loved her deeply.
That's wonderful. All right, tell us a little bit.
Really
give us a little synopsis of the first book, The Distance Home. How would you describe that in a couple, 3 sentences? Or I'll give you 4.
She's a writer, for goodness sakes. That's all you're going to give her?
Yeah, right. I have to keep talking and talking. Yeah, so let's see. Let's see if I can do it. Yeah, so there's two siblings or three siblings at home, but an older brother, younger sister. They both want to dance. They're both talented dancers. They go on in their lives. One, the younger sister, goes on to study classical ballet. The brother, who is terribly teased and terribly treated, teased by his peers and teachers and treated poorly, not encouragingly by his father, becomes alcoholic and drug addicted and goes in the opposite direction.
Whoa.
So there's that big split in the siblings that is kind of the center of the story, and it's the pain of the pain of the family, really. So you have a family that's really kind of torn apart like that. And it's, if I can go on just a little bit, I know I'm doing many more than 3 or 4 sentences. I'm sorry.
We won't hold you to it.
So thank you so much. But the distance home covers the full story of the family up to and including the deaths of most of the family members. So it goes a little bit back and forth in time. It moves up to the future, and it also goes back and forth in point of view. So like you get everybody has their say a little bit, but it ends when the girl leaves home. This girl who's going to study ballet leaves home at 15. And that's where Starting From Here starts, is when she's left home.
Okay.
So it is a continuation.
Yeah. Okay. Now, if I'm going to pick up and read, I'm asking this from a listener's question.
Right.
You know, do I need to read The Distance Home before I go get Starting From Here, or is it understandable?
Or is it okay to start from here?
Yeah, is it okay to start from here?
Good one. That was a good one. Yes, it's okay to start from here. Yes, as a matter of fact, yes, please read Starting From Here. It's everything you need is in that book. Yeah. And then if you're interested in the family, it would be terrific to go back and read the first one.
Yeah.
When you decided after the training and the work and the mentoring, and when you decided, okay, I'm going to really do this writing thing. Did you sit down and did it begin to flow? Was it, did you have to work with it? How, and what was your process? I'm interested in the writing, kind of how you go about it.
For me, it has never worked like I sit down and it flows. It's really like I sit down and I work. So I work, and sometimes I hit a bit of a flow, and that's lovely. But my writing is really rewriting. I'm a rewriter. I rewrite obsessively. So I really try to take whatever narrative I'm trying to work on and shape it. Like really shape it. Yeah. So so whatever I've written has been rewritten over many years. And to me, that process is really important because I think it allows any writer to go deeper into what they're trying to look at. You kind of can't get it in a first pass or a second pass. You really kind of have to give yourself the time, for me anyway, to understand it better, and then to find the language and to experiment with the language. And those two are, for me, intertwined. As you find the language, your understanding clarifies, and as your understanding clarifies, you find the language. So yeah, those things are really connected, and that is how I work. And I have to say, you kind of went way back for me, to the Toni Morrison, when I was studying with Toni Morrison, and that kind of mentoring and studying I did. After that, I really did try to write this book. I mean, one of these books, all these books, for a number of years. I had little kids at home.
Right.
We didn't have any family nearby. We didn't have any money to hire somebody to take care of them. I was the caretaker, and my husband was working full time. Right. So it was kind of like one of those things where I know people do it, and I felt a little bit, as a woman, I felt a little bit ashamed that I couldn't do it. I was like, why can't I do my work and watch the kids and make the dinner and do the laundry and go to the grocery store and take them to gymnastics? And, why can't I do it? I just felt like a failure.
I'm exhausted just hearing. I'm just exhausted just listening to this.
I know. Well, besides that, I was teaching English.
Oh, my
So
Lord.
at a
Wow.
college nearby.
Oh, geez.
So I was like, why can't I do this? And finally I said, I have to stop trying to do everything. And I just stopped writing. And I stopped writing for about 20 years.
Wow.
Hmm.
And so when the kids were grown and they were out of the house, I was teaching at a school, and for little kids and a very kind of select group of younger kids, about 13-year-old, maybe 13-year-old girls. It was just a little reading class. We were doing Little House on the Prairie. And I started thinking, I can do this. I can do this. This is kind of my territory because it's about South Dakota. And I said, and I know this place and I can do it. And then we happened to run into Toni Morrison at an event that we were at. And she got after me big time. And so I went home. She really did. She chewed me out. And so I went home and I thought, I've got to try. And so she was really the impetus, and it was very strong directive.
Yeah.
And she was really the
sometimes-
impetus that we
Sometimes
started
we
again.
need that.
Sometimes we
Yeah.
need mentors, and we need mentors who will give us a swift kick where it needs to go.
You know, and that's what I was talking about in the beginning about her generosity. She didn't hold back.
Yeah.
She said what she thought, and
Yeah.
it meant something to me.
Absolutely.
You know, so
Paula Saunders, her brand new book is out today. It's called Starting From Here. She is the best-selling author of The Distance Home. This is her second book. We're talking to her today here on Strategies for Living. We've got much more to learn from her, much more to come. So don't go away. Stay right where you are. More Paula Saunders in just a moment.
Facing the same old problems day to day makes you wanna holler, get away. Looking for the road that'll get me there. Looking for hope and peace to spare. Looking for strategies, strategies for living radio. Your dose of radio rehab. Strategies for living radio.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren, Leon McMillian, David McMillian, our life strategist today. She's the author of The Distance Home. She's Paula Saunders. Got a brand new book out today. Congratulations. It's called Starting From Here. As I mentioned earlier, we don't have a lot of authors on debut day.
No.
So
Thanks for sharing it with us.
Thank you for setting aside
celebrating.
time today for us. And, what a great day, huh?
Well, of course, it's really exciting to have a new book out. I mean, I've worked on this book for a number of years, and
Yeah,
so to have it kind of come into the world is really a nice feeling. I'm really happy that people will be able to read it, and I'm really happy to have the opportunity to talk about it when I can, because there's a number of issues in this book that are really important to me, and I think are important to other people too. So
No doubt.
yeah, I'm real excited. Yeah, I'm real excited about having it come out. And I hope it kind of forwards the conversation about young women, because I think there are a lot of experiences that we as young women coming up and coming of age go through that we kind of don't talk about, maybe sometimes even with each other. So I think it's important to know that these things are just things we share.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I think you do such a wonderful job in the book is you reflect deeply on finding a meaning when life challenges us, and also resilience. Did you have those kind of turning points in your own life that kind of helped shape this message a bit?
I did. Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, this is a fairly autobiographical novel. So I came to the same kind of pressure points that this protagonist, Renee, comes to. And you have to, in the kind of situations she's in, and that I was in, you have to, dig pretty deep and count on yourself. And yes, I think I was maybe born that way, maybe because I know I was a real maybe pain to my mother because I was so self-determining in some way from the very beginning, just like, this is what I'm going to do. So yeah, so I had those qualities, and and she needs those qualities as I look back. And a lot of the reflection comes from me as an older woman, looking back at this younger woman and realizing these aren't faults. She needs these qualities. She needs these qualities to go forward in her life. And so these qualities that as a culture we kind of denigrate in young women, like, the strength and not talk back, because she wasn't a talk backer, but she just had strength and she had determination of purpose, and she wasn't going to let anybody tell her what to do, that kind of thing. Our strengths we should celebrate. We should really celebrate, and especially when they occur in girls who are 13, 14, 15, 16. We have such a negative connotation around them that I would really like to change that. That has everything to do with how our culture sees women, and it starts so young. And if we could change it, maybe we can be all better for it and benefit from it.
What are some ways that you see in the world that we can start to celebrate those qualities in women especially, and in young girls?
What I see is that it probably would need to start with older women setting the example.
Yeah.
Because what I have seen as an older woman is older women, meaning especially mothers, let's say, kind of talking down their adolescent girls. And I think that needs, and it kind of, sometimes they are doing it in a joking way, but it still hurts, it's still barbed. It still has, they're thinking it has some kind of meaning, and it penetrates in that way. And I think it could start there. But we're in a bit of a sorry state right now as regards those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And so I hope that kind of change can come from deep within each of us, looking and saying, how am I reacting to this young person who's struggling? I saw on the television the other day, I was watching a program, and there was a young girl, adolescent girl, who was being, kind of not so great to her mom. And the friend who was standing there said, it's a difficult age. And I was like, it's a difficult age for her.
Right.
It's not a difficult age for the parents. The parents have already gone through it. They're grown-ups. But it's a difficult age for the young girl.
Yeah.
And that's what I think we need to recognize.
Yeah.
And yet, how many women, older women, as we age, we haven't healed or helped that young girl get through the difficult time. And so we're still carrying that young girl within us.
Yes, I agree with that completely. Absolutely, 100%. And I think that somehow our culture doesn't give us even like the language, even the emotional language, to go back and see ourselves with that kind of empathy, which is what we need in order to go forward. I have to say, there's a medicine woman named Patricia James, and she's in the I think the Cheyenne tradition. She's a priest, and I heard her say that an elder said to her that if you can't take your experiences from your life and incorporate them into your life now, then you're being a dilettante. And I thought, that is it. That is, for me, that's it. So we have to look back at our experiences. We have to examine them and understand them and try to see ourselves and incorporate those experiences into our lives now, in how we feel about ourselves and how we feel about others and how we see the world. And that makes a difference. And that's the work. It's the work I try to do in my writing, but it doesn't have to be writing. It's the work that we all do in our lives.
Yes.
Some meaningful work. And so I really liked that.
I knew you were going to be a good life strategist.
You earned your stripes with that.
Yeah, I knew you were going to be. So that brings me to the title. You know, starting from
Yes,
here.
right.
All of this conversation in this segment leads me to, okay, did that title jump out at you? Did you start with the title, or did you write for a little while and then, oh, here it is, or finish the writing and, okay, it's going to be called this? How does that come to be? Because it's a great title.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thank you. That title was a really hard one. I worked on this book in some form for about 5 or 6 years, and oh man, the title has been everything. It's been back and forth and one thing and another. I think we took a drive across the country, I think, where I was like, how about this title? How about this title? Does this title sound good? It was just like the whole drive across the country. But anyway, so I worked really hard on that title, and I love it.
Mm-hmm.
And I love it because it has, for me, so many multiple meanings.
Yeah.
The meaning on the surface of the book is the girl is starting from South Dakota, and she's starting from the family of the generations of cattle traders. And she's starting from a place where nobody knows what ballet is,
Right.
Yeah.
So
Right.
she's starting from there, and she has this idea, I'm going to be a professional classical ballet dancer. Well, okay, wild. So anyway, that to me is really interesting. The other part of that is there's the socioeconomic part where her parents can't really afford for her to go away and get the training that she needs and to have the kind of protection she might need to do that. So I've seen, as I've gotten older, I've seen a number of families that have children who are, talented or gifted in some way, and they have to go away from where they are to study more deeply.
Mhm.
And what happens generally is the family goes with them, or the mother goes with them, or there's some kind of support where the young person is supported by her family physically wherever she goes. And so, but that requires means.
Yes.
And it also requires education. You have to know the area you're going into well enough to know how to navigate it. And so none of those things are present for this girl. She's just being sent away basically and has to navigate on her own. So, and trying to get to a place that's, she can't even imagine what it is, and no one seems to know. So that's part of starting from here. She's starting from a place where she's at a deficit. And the second part of starting from here is at the beginning of the book, she's at the beginning of this long journey. And then at the end of the book, you come to see that she's at the beginning of her journey once again. And I think that's, for me, that's really beautiful because we're always at the beginning of whatever journey we're on all the time.
Yeah, there's people listening to us right now that are in transition. Some may be in a relationship transition, some may be in a career transition, some may be in a health transition, right?
Yeah.
So, elegant title.
Yeah, I mean, no matter, thank you so much.
And no matter what kind of transition we're in, I mean, okay, well, we got to let's start from here.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. I mean, even if you're not going through anything particularly daunting, wherever you are, that's where you're starting, moment to moment. And so I think to remember that is really gives you a little more power in the world.
Gives you a little more power, gives you a little more courage.
Yes, right, because you can look, once again, like through your own eyes, you can look fresh in a fresh way, and kind of like not be weighed down by your habit and your dread or your thoughts or your fear. You're starting now. And now,
The book is Starting From Here. Paula Saunders is its author. Today's the day. It's
Start from here now.
Yeah, it's starting from right here, and she's starting on strategies. I love it. We've got more. We've got more to learn from Paula Saunders, our life strategist today. And I hope you'll go get the book Starting From Here. And get the distance home too. Do 2 for 1. We'll be right back. More strategies to come.
We all have problems every day. We all need help along the way. We need strategies, strategies, strategies for living radio.
And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living Radio. Lauren, Leon McMillian, David McMillian. Great life strategist today. Paula Saunders. Her brand new book, hot off the press, Starting from Here. You can also find The Distance Home. I hope you'll go get both of those books wherever you buy books, out from Random House, and they are certainly worth the read.
So Paula, kind of as we started the episode, you talked about Renee. She encounters some eccentric, but even some dangerous people, right, who shape her adolescence. And we all encountered these throughout our lives. So what insights, I guess, can this story, Renee's story, offer about keeping our balance in these relationships and finding our way through life and relationships?
In relationships with like dangerous people
Yes.
and difficult people like
Yeah.
that. Okay, I think because she's so young,
Mm-hmm.
the only thing I can really say is that if we have had those kinds of incidences in our lives, we can't blame ourselves. I think a lot of the time we take that blame or the kind of terrible feeling we have from having those traumatic incidences,
Yes.
and we put it on ourselves. Like it's, oh, I shouldn't have done that, or I shouldn't have done this.
I should have known better. Yeah.
But yeah, I should have known better. Why didn't I know better?
Right.
So much of that, right? So much. So my feeling is like, I think if all of us have gone through things like that. But I think that one good way to understand it, as you look at it more closely, as you have more empathy for yourself and see yourself a little more clearly, this is a young person. She doesn't know. She doesn't have protection. And so, really, if there's fault, it's on somebody else. I really feel that way.
Yeah.
It's really, I'm not saying, I'm not advocating not taking personal responsibility, because
No.
I think personal responsibility is really important. But I am saying that when someone is treated in a negative way like this, then there has to be some clarity about who has crossed the line,
Right.
and who has been vulnerable to that. So, and there's a big difference there between being the one who crosses the line and being the one who's vulnerable. And so I think there's space to forgive ourselves,
Yeah.
and not to like try to trace down blame, but to really forgive ourselves for how we were in that situation.
And forgiveness plays a big part in this story, doesn't
Yes.
it? It really does. Yes. Thank you for saying that. I thank you for noticing that. Even it really does, because there has to be forgiveness in order for there to be community, and the relationship between the mother and daughter.
Too often, and Lauren, I'm interested in your take on this too. But in the therapy room, too often we think about forgiveness.
We don't know what it really means.
Well, yeah, and we think about forgiveness as I got to do that with the other. But I think what you're illustrating is I got to do it with myself too. Like,
Yeah. Yes, 100%. I think you have to do it. My personal feeling is you have to do it with yourself first.
Absolutely.
Because,
yes.
Yeah, because you don't quite have the strength. If you're always focusing on the other person, you don't quite have the strength, and there's always that resistance, like, oh, but they did this, da da da. And we all feel that. And so, forgiving yourself, and then it kind of can loosen up and get some space in there. And you feel like, oh yeah, well, I understand me a little better, and I can extend a little more clearly and kindly to someone else. I think that's really the key.
Absolutely.
So, what I see here in this book, I mean, you've got emotional honesty, you've got some spirituality, you've got reflection, self-reflection, all kind of woven together in this book. How does Paula see those all working together in everyday life?
Oh, well, I hope, yes, all the time. I hope they're working together all the time.
Yeah.
I hope so. But I have to say something about the writing of this book was really important to me in terms of my relationship with my mother. Um,
Oh.
because yeah, because I, have held on to a lot of resentment for my mother throughout my life, and she passed away about 10 years ago now.
Mm.
And when I wrote that, there's a section in the book where the son has been kind of out on a drunk and has come home and been like lounging around the house and trying to recover, and the mother's been waiting on him, and the daughter Renee is just kind of watching this happen, and then the son, stands up from being passed out basically for 3 days and leaves the house with a drinking buddy.
Mm-hmm.
And, the mother's like, don't, come on, don't go, just stay here. And he's like, no, see you later, mom, so he takes off. And what the mother does, and this surprised me because I didn't have it in my memory, but what the mother does is she comes back inside, she waves goodbye to him, she comes back inside, and she slumps down onto the step, and she says, I think I'm going to be sick.
Mm.
And that hit me like a slap across the face. It really did, because I was like, oh yeah, there is the empathy for my mother, that was her experience. And, I had my own turmoil with her, so
Sure.
I didn't really see it until I wrote it. And once I wrote it, I was like, now I see her. Now I can have that kind of more open forgiveness and empathy for her experience.
Yeah.
What is your
Yeah.
life strategist advice for people who are dealing with old wounds? Do you have any particular advice on how do we stay present? How do you start from here? How do you do the starting from here thing?
Well, it took for me, I mean, I don't know if this is helpful for anyone else. I think we all have to find our own path. I
Right.
really do.
Yeah.
But for me, I started practicing meditation. I know there are a lot of different kinds of meditation going on. I don't know how helpful any one of them is, but one thing that I heard Mr. Rogers say actually a long time ago was silence, quiet.
Yeah.
That kind of thing, even just having peace and quiet and silence, and maybe keeping to a regimen of silence or a discipline of silence in your life,
Yes.
can really help for these things, I feel, to start to kind of trickle down so that suddenly you're aware of them. And then once you become aware of them, you can look at them more closely. You can kind of examine them, but not in an aggressive way, just in a quiet way,
Right.
Yeah.
and in a forgiving way.
Yeah.
Kind of look and see what's there. And so that quiet is really important for all of us, and we don't have enough of it. I think Mr. Rogers said we have such a noisy world,
Amen.
and it's really true.
Amen.
Yes.
Man, there's
No one's
so
getting
much
louder.
there's so much more. There's so much here. There's so much in this book. Starting from Here is the name of Paula Saunders' new book. Following up her first book, The Distance Home. Find it as your favorite bookseller. We'll be back to wrap up our conversation today with life strategist Paula Saunders. But you can continue the conversation by getting the book. We'll be right back. And welcome back. Welcome back into Strategies for Living. Lauren, Leon McMillian, David McMillian, Paula Saunders, our life strategist today. Brand new book, Starting from Here, following up on The Distance Home. You got to get these books, folks. They're good stuff. So, Paula, we've had a great conversation today. Thank you for that.
Thank you, guys.
What do you want people to take away from your writing, your books, what we've talked about today? What do you want the takeaway to be?
I think one of the things I would say is, we've talked about starting from wherever you are, and we've talked about self-forgiveness. But one of the things I would say is like we all have these stories, we all have these experiences in our lives. And one of the most important things I feel like we can do to make our lives meaningful is to look honestly at what we've experienced in life and try to grow from that. I hope this book brings that to people, kind of like, oh, yes, I experienced that too, or oh, yes, that seems similar to my family experience, or whatever it is. But just a place where we acknowledge the experience we've had and we make it, we derive from it the most meaning we can to move ourselves forward in our learning journeys of this lifetime, which is, I hope, to become more compassionate, more thoughtful, more kind, more open to other people's experience too.
Paula,
So
thank
that's kind
you.
of where I would leave it.
You've been a great life strategist. Thank you for
Thank
the
you
books.
for your work.
Thank you for
Yeah.
the books you're putting into the world, and thank you for being a great life strategist.
Well, thank you guys. It was so fun. I enjoyed it so much. Thank you for having me, really.
Folks, thank you for being with us here on Strategies for Living, and we appreciate our sponsors who make it all possible. The Robinson Film Center, and Azalea Cleaners, and Pintail Roofing, and Learning RX, and the Balanced Life Wellness Center, and Fertitas Delicatessen, home of The Godfather, Alligator Italian Sausage, and some good muffies too. If today were the last day of your life, you only had one more phone call that you could make, who is it that you'd call? And what would you say? And why are you waiting? Make the call. For Paula Saunders, for Lauren Leon McMillian, I'm David McMillian. See you next time right here on Strategies for Living.